Okay, next up on the line, we've got Emblem Digital super sponsor, Braincase Rob. Rob has been evicted from Jeff Bezos' billionaire Bunga Island, where he was staying in quarantine luxury because they found out he started 2 wars in Kazakhstan. Hello and good day to you, Rob.
Hi, Andy. It's great to be back on the show. I've really missed being on the show. Last time I was in my Kunstpod, waiting admission to the Bunga Island, Jeff Bezos' Bunga Island. They let Bono on. They sent me packing after a few days, unfortunately, because they found out got some dirt on me. There was this thing I was loosely connected to where I'd accidentally invested some money in a war criminal in Kazakhstan. And they were really just busting my balls on this. And unfortunately, I've had to come back to the flat with Tiana and my son, Jeff.
Rob?
Named after Jeff Bezos.
Gary from Minge Lane in Worcestershire has emailed in to say, do you think it's acceptable ethically to be living on a billionaire island with all your rich friends whilst the UK suffers?
Listen, I think the important people in the world who are making the big decisions, they're the big boys, basically, doing the good business, making the money. I think we need to protect those people. They're the elite class.
Rather than the frontline healthcare staff.
Listen, I don't doubt that they do a good job, but they're not packing the big bucks, okay? Leave that up to us. And, we've got you boys like Branson. He's going to have a bailout. He's asked me for money, personally. He came to me and said, hey, BC Rob, how about giving us some BC cash? And I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't really do it right now. I've just been evicted from the billionaire Bunga Island, where I was going to party down big time with the girls there. But no, unfortunately, he's not going to get the money at the moment. And got a bit of a cash flow problem. But I'm hoping to get back on my feet soon.
Okay, certainly. So when you were there on the billionaire island, did you have staff waiting on you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was just really in my Kunstpod. I had my chief espresso maker and barista, Padre, by my side. He was helping me with some of the logistics, like emptying my excrement slot and, just making sure I had good Wi-Fi in the pod. But, yeah, it was pretty much just him. And there was actually very hostile feeling towards me from some of the other. I think Bono started the bad feeling. Met Bono once, didn't like him. I found him quite obnoxious. And he didn't really seem to know what he was doing money-wise with his investments. Gave him a few tips, didn't appreciate it. And I said, well, you know what? I don't fucking like you two. So you can fuck off, Bono. And I think that basically got us off on the wrong foot. And I think he basically soured my relationship with some of the people on the island, like Bezos and Berlusconi, who are...
Oh, Berlusconi was there, was he?
Yeah, Berlusconi.
I guess it's a standard character for the type of person that was on the island.
Yeah. He liked to live out Bunga style. I saw him as I was being evicted. They were piling me back onto the boat. And I said, hey, Berlusconi. And he pretended he didn't see me. He was walking around nude with an erection. And I just thought it was rude, basically. He had a few girls by his side. He was having a blast. And he wouldn't even acknowledge me. So basically, he's dead to me right now. And now I'm back in the flat, basically, in the Denizen Towers in London, with, as I say, my wife and child, who is actually a teenager.
A teenage son. How's that now, looking after your son, who you haven't previously had much contact with?
We're bonding. We're bonding, basically. I've got him on the footsie. He's loving the stocks. He does want to become a trap rapper. I said on it that's really your forte. Maybe try something else.
I have no idea what you just said. A what rapper?
He does the trap music. He's got. To be honest, I don't really care for it.
What sort of trap does it do? What does it trap?
It's a type of rap from the US of A, which I don't really care for, to be honest. It's very about worshipping brands, but not the good brands. Stuff like Versace rather than Braincase, you know. I would like a trap artist to do a song maybe about a good brand like Braincase, maybe. But so far it's quite lackluster. I'm not impressed.
Rob, we've just had a text from Keith in Plumpton. He says, if Rob was enjoying Basil's Island so much, why doesn't he throw himself back in the sea and try and swim there? The UK would be a lot better off with self-serving, entitled, privileged, and selfish men like Rob.
Sorry, what does this guy do for a living? Because I bet he's not a CEO of a great brand like Braincase, just leading the way. I'm top dog basically at Braincase. Our profit margins are great.
I don't think Keith in Plumpton's going to care about your profit margins. He's probably going to care about the people who are fighting on the front line, and people like myself who can't get to the garden centre and go and have a coffee. We're suffering whilst you are on Bezos Island. I bet you didn't even have a fat white Costa whilst you were there, did you?
No, I didn't. I'll tell you what we have been doing though. Espresso. Yep. We've actually launched our own beans. The integrity of these beans is second to none. These beans, they're the best beans. And we've got a subscription service you can get during the lockdown. Padre delivers it to the country. Everyone in the country.
Yes, I saw the advertisements come up on my Twitter feed. Braincase beans. I believe it was quite a considerable fee a month. Was it $39.99?
Yeah, that's right. And you get some of the integrity of these beans. I'm actually just going to have a little sip now. It's great beans. The integrity of the bean is great. These are second to none beans.
Fair trade beans, are they? Made in ethical
Funty blend
conditions?
Funty blend.
Are they Rainforest Forest Alliance or fair trade?
They're Funty blend.
Rob, I'm doubting your credentials as an ethical coffee supplier, and also I'm doubting that
I went on a coffee pilgrimage. Let's just get that straight. I went on a coffee pilgrimage a few years ago. It was great. I learned a lot about coffee. There's a guy on YouTube called James Hoffman, and his videos are amazing. Honestly, I learned so much about coffee from him.
I'm sure you did. Listen, Rob, let me get on to the next thing, because whenever you talk about coffee, you tend to speak for a rather long time, and you're in a bit of hot water yourself, aren't you? For photoshopping your head on the body of Jesus.
Is actually one of the things I use to make great coffee. So I don't consider that a bad thing, being in hot water. It's what makes great espresso.
Well, what else are you going to use, Rob? Cold water?
You can actually do that. There's honestly, just watch some of those James Hoffman videos. He's got a cold water coffee. I mean, I gotta try that when the lockdown's over. I'm trying that. It's great. I did ask Padre to get me one, but unfortunately he's got the coronavirus now, and it's a shame because
he was working for you, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He
as a key, you labelled him as a key worker.
He is a key worker.
A barista. How is that a key worker making coffee for you?
I mean, if I don't get the good coffee, I don't make great content, and I think during this period, people need great content. If they don't get the good content, it's basically a criminal act. Do you know what I mean? And
Well, I don't know what you mean, but I think there's some people in government right now, or the Labour Party would probably empathise with your position because they're absolutely clueless. Now let's come back to the subject at hand. You have been on Twitter posting a picture of yourself as Jesus. It's been called provocative and offensive by the Daily Mirror. And previously, Ruhollah Khomeini proclaimed a fatwa ordering for your execution after you failed to, well, after you tried to capitalize on Ramadan.
yeah.
Do you think it's a good idea to be getting involved in other religions on Twitter and trying to profit from them?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, Ramadan, people are going to be hungry afterwards. They're going to be hungry for great coffee. And I'm going to provide that coffee. He didn't like it. I don't know why. And he
I
did.
think it's because you put a picture up of a prophet, and also
People do call me that. They do call me the prophet. I can see where the confusion came from. Carol in Accounts actually put the Jesus picture up. I was quite embarrassed because, I mean,
oh really? Because it came from your account on Twitter.
I think Carol might have got my details and posted it.
You give your, sorry, just to touch on this point, you give your accounts person your email and password
I think she hacked
on Twitter and allow her to tweet on your behalf for all your marketing.
I think she hacked in, and
so she hacked in as to try and undermine you.
Well, I think her intentions were good. She thought I was, some sort of thing. I think it said CEO Messiah, which is quite embarrassing. I wasn't really into it, but I guess a lot of people took it very seriously because it caused a lot of offense. But I mean, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus. I'm just saying that from a CEO perspective, I mean, Carol is saying this. I suppose I do the good business, is what I'm saying. The content is exceptional. I've got a new series coming up actually with Braincase. I've been working with Jaffet on this. Jaffet from our content section, and I think it's great. This is the first Braincase Glasgow experience, and it's basically the production team there have done a fantastic idea. We've got Gaffney on the job, Dean Gaffney, and it's basically a load of hot people on an island, really sexy people, and we've contaminated the water supply. So they've all got dysentery, and we're just seeing how that goes, basically. It's very influenced by Too Hot to Handle on Netflix.
Well, it certainly sounds like a type of program that you've copied and then put a little twist on, like a lot of your content efforts are.
Chemically castrated. I just want to say there's more to it than that. It's layered. It's a layered program.
And have you got funding for this program yet?
It's in production right now.
Channel 5, maybe?
Channel 5. I'm hoping it gets on Channel 5. We're looking more at Bravo channel.
Oh, classy, very classy.
It's also slightly erotic, and some of the ladies get their tops off. And I mean, it pays for itself.
Well, in my day, we used to settle for Eurotrash, and we were happy. You had Channel 4, late night, Eurotrash, and that was all we needed. Nowadays, you youngsters, you need everything to get your rocks off, don't you? You're never happy. I mean, you can have it all.
This is very specific because, although it's erotic, of course, the water supply has been contaminated, and there is dysentery. So it's a very specific type of Oh,
What are you going
fetish.
to do if one of your hot people dies, Rob?
I mean, that I guess that could be a possibility, but I mean, with the coronavirus going around, who knows if it's not? If it might be coronavirus, they might have got that on the island. I don't know. What I've been doing since I got back is getting the Deliveroo from Scoff and Banter, which is one of my favourite places in London at the moment. They've actually got a delivery service, which is great because I love me some Scoff and Banter.
Yeah, well, you youngsters are always using Deliveroo or the Ubers. I do not understand why you'd let a man on a motorbike take your food around. It's madness to me.
Well, you've got to move with the times. Got to move with the times, man. So I've basically on the line, I've got my finance guru, Jonathan Apache. He's probably one of the best in the business at assessing finance.
Okay.
And he's just going to talk you through maybe how you come into some of the financial troubles that he's picked up on.
Oh dear. Well, I'm
Because
certainly would not describe myself as trouble, and I hope Jonathan won't do either. So stick him on, Rob. We'll have a little chat.
Andy, how are you doing?
I'm very well.
Apache of
I'm
Braincase.
very well, thanks. How are you?
Well, let's not beat about the bush. Rob's really screwed the pooch on this one. We're talking about some mass redundancies, and I think probably from where I'm looking at it, we're going to have to cut back on some of the Emblem Digital stuff. That involves you. I'm going to have to furlough you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this. We need to get these figures done and dusted. We've got to balance these books.
Well, you can balance them elsewhere because I'm not going anywhere.
We want Asphyxie Wank away from complete bankruptcy.
Emblem Digital is a long-withstanding community radio station, and I am a pillar of that radio station. You can take your fancy title of your finance guru and shove it up your ass.
Well, if that's how you feel, you're going to have to play my new single. And that's right, it's a double team with Braincase Rob. I don't agree with everything he's done, okay? I don't agree with how he's running the company, but I agree with how his house music sounds. And that's why we've collaborated in this sense. Okay, so you're going to play that single.
Well, I'm going to have to because you're a key sponsor, but get this, Jonathan. Get off my line. Here's Jonathan Apache and Braincase Rob with their latest single.